It's Kim back from Making Creative Memories in Time. Today is Thursday, 4th Thursday of the month. And you know what time that is? It's time that my beautiful friend Nicole over at Recording the Journey with Nicole and I collaborate on the 52 scrapbooking project recipes. And this month, we are working on project recipe number 32. I absolutely love this recipe. This one is done featuring the Something Blue Wedding Collection. And this lets you get up to 7 photos more if you want to use peekaboo pockets. I'm going to use 6 photos, and I am going to have a journal spot, I think over here on this page, and we are going to just have some fun with this. I love it. So here's a look at the sketch. And here is a look at your cutting guide. Now, you guys know me. I sort of wing this as I go. Some of the project recipes I like to stick pretty true to. Some I just kind of make my own. But I love this project recipe. And Nicole and I both are so excited to be sharing this recipe with you this month. Now, the paper that I am choosing to use today is Heartfelt Noteworthy Days. This was a Spend and Get promo last month. I think this was last month. Time is like gotten so fast this summer for me. So this was a Spend and Get, and it goes along with the Noteworthy Days collection, but this introduces some fun pops of color, and I really want to use this collection. I've sort of gone through this collection. I'll give you just a quick look at the papers, and if you did not get this, all I can say is it's an awesome paper. Hopefully you can find it if you didn't get it. So I have pulled the papers I think I'm going to work with. I will be working with some black and white photos that my niece had made, Mommy and Me photos of her and Roland just before his first birthday. And these are gorgeous. I absolutely love them. And the reason I chose black and white photos for this layout is I'm going to be using all of this beautiful color. And I felt like the black and white photos would just really be beautiful on these colors. So what I'm thinking, and y'all are going to be like, girl, what happened? You know I love a good white base page, right? So I'm not going with a white base page today. I am going to go with this sort of beige paper that is like coffee stains, tea stains as my base, right? Like what happened? Where's Kim? What happened to her, and why is she not using a white base page? I love this, and I think this will be a great base for what I'm doing today, okay? So that's going to be my base papers, and going to be a gorgeous base for these black and white photos. And then there is this piece is 6 inches tall, and what I think I'm going to do for that is I think I'm going to use this really pretty like soft island waters paper for that. The reverse of that is it's that same Noteworthy stained glass, but this is a little bold, and I really don't want to go that bold on this. So I'm going to use this soft island waters, and it's sort of like a diamond, and we'll just cut this at 6 inches. And then we'll trim a little off, okay? My photo mats, I think with a white mat, you know how I traditionally do my little 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch of a white mat. I think that will be really nice on this blue paper. But then again, now that I lay this down on this blue paper, I don't know that my photo is going to pop the way I want it to pop. This may end up being my 6-inch piece. I'm thinking that I like this island water paired better as a mat, and then my white mat. Obviously, something like this would be nice. I think the blue is just No matter what, the blue is just too much for the photo. I want this beautiful sort of plum. This is a new color that's being introduced. I want this beautiful plum color to be this 3x12 that goes down each side. So I think, let's just look one more time. Let's just look one more time at what we have. So we have, there is this sort of speckle pink. I don't want to use that. That's too much pattern. There is this, ooh, the yellow would be pretty. I was looking at what stickers that I may want to use. Let's see what the yellow. I like the yellow. The yellow would pop. Really didn't want to go that route though. Let me just look real quick, friends. And then there was this pack that was designer matte. So one side is a print paper and one side is a matte collection. Isn't that awesome? I love it. Let's see. I don't want to do brown for the matte. I feel like this would be the same thing as the blue. I kind of like that. No, I'm going to stick to my original. So this is, friends, I'm showing you my thought process and how I choose papers, because I feel like it's important for us to talk about paper selection and how different papers can change our, in this situation, laying the blue photo down on, the black and white photo down on the blue paper, like it really pulls the blue undertone of the black and white photo. But then if I lay it down on the Island Waters paper, you can see the difference. So I think we're going to stick to our original 3 pieces of designer paper. This one will be the matte, and this one will be the 6x12. And then this is going to be our 3x12. This is going to be our base pages. And then, and I tried to pull papers that I knew what stickers I think I'm going to use and what border stickers I think I'm going to use are going to look really nice with this. So let's get everything cleared away and get started, friends. Nicole and I are just so happy to be back, and we hope that you are enjoying this series. Let us know, is this something, because there's 52 recipes, is this something you would like us to continue into 2026? Or would you like us to do a different kind of collab? Like Nicole and I can do any type, like Nicole, seriously, is one of the most talented, fun, just amazing people I have ever met in my entire life. And charismatic, just all the things. And we would love to, whatever you guys want to see us do, we would love to do that for you. So leave us a comment. Comment here on my page, comment on Nicole's page, and let us know. So my first cuts are going to be these 3x12, and I know I want that to be this plum paper. And that would be these 3x12, okay? And so we're going to cut 2 of those. We have so many fun things that we could share with you guys. We could do, you just tell us what you would like to see after we do our initial 12 sketches with you. So there, that's going to be, friends, okay? So now, according to your cutting guide, then we should have 3 6x4s out of this mat. I don't want to use this blue, okay? Project recipes are meant to use 3 pieces of designer paper, pattern paper, and quick knock it out of the park. But I don't want to use that sheet. You can use the reverse of whatever you use to cut. I am going to come back in, remember, with this shade for my mats. And then this is going to be my 6x12. So until I decide what size I'm cutting my photos down, I'm not really sure what my mats are going to be. So let's go ahead and do, this is going to be 6x12. So this is not really directional. It doesn't matter. This, either way, it's going to give me the same look. So we're just going to put this in at 6 inches. And we're going to cut. And on this design, this sketch, it shows that 6x12 kind of high up. So let's just play around. And I know I'm going to trim this down. It's not going to be the full 6x12, okay? We're just going to play around a little bit with it here. This is going to be my photo that goes up here. This is going to be the photo that goes down here. We're going to come back and trim. This is going to be the photo here. Okay, let's change this. I think I want this photo here, this photo here. Then we're going to have, this one is going to get trimmed down to a 4x4. And this one is going to go here. And then I'm going to have a journal box over here with my title. So I'm loving this so far. Loving this, okay? Now, when I come back and look at E is on this page. And this tells me that it's a 12x6, but I'm going to have a punched edge. And then I'm going to score at 1.5 inches. So what that means is I would use some type of punch. And then lay this down and use my scoring blade and pull this back. That's a lot right there for me. I think what I'm going to do here, let me look and see. I may pull a punch in, but I also may, this border, I think may work. Obviously, this one is not going to work because it's the same tone of paper. Okay. The banner, what I may do instead of having a border here, I may do this banner across the top of the photos, that border. We may do that, and I like that. I like that idea a lot. But let's, so what you would do, the way that the directions are calling for this is, let's say I wanted to use my scallop crochet. Then what you would do is you would punch, and then you would lay this in your paper trimmer, and you would come back at 1 1/2 inch and use your scoring blade, and then this would fold over. But because I've used this plum here, I feel like that's kind of heavy there. I don't know that I would like that. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to cut this off at 1.5 inches. I'm going to trim 1.5 inches off, I guess I should say. We're going to trim 1.5 inches off. And let's see. We may actually end up trimming a little bit more than that. And I'm going to let that butt edge up. I don't know. I'm kind of liking that, friends. Okay. So then I'm going to come over here and cut off 1.5 inches. Actually, I'm only cutting off the 1.5 inches. If you punched, you would have your punch and then you would score. So, but I'm liking this measurement. Okay. I definitely think that I am going to use this banner up here at the top. I'm really liking that banner. Or I could totally use this banner at the top. Those little circles. I may do that. Not sure. We'll come back to that. I am going to go ahead, though, and trim my photos off camera, get them matted and ready to go, and then we will knock this out, friends. We will knock this out, okay? Okay, friends, I have matted my photos, and while I trimmed and matted down my photos, I realized that this is the paper that I want to mat the photos on and not be the 6x12. Instead of editing that out, I want to leave that in there because I want to show, hey, we all make mistakes, right? So I hadn't stuck that down. It hadn't been adhered yet, so I will use that paper for something else. And now I need to cut the 6x12 in this blue paper. I don't know what I was thinking when I cut that, you know. Yeah, we just get a little crazy sometimes. This one I do want to, let's see, I think I want to do my lines on this paper, my brush marks, to be vertical. So I'm going to turn my paper horizontal and cut 6 inches. Okay. And then I ended up trimming 1.5 inches off. I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to end up doing, I think I'm going to do 1 3/4 inches this time. When I trimmed it on the green, I did 1.5 inches. I'm going to do 1 3/4 inches on each side this time. I think it's important to leave things like that in a process video just to show that, hey, we all get busy doing our thing and we forget what we're doing, right? So let's go back now with the blue. Yeah, after I got my photos matted, I was like, yeah, I think you may have cut the wrong piece of paper. But that's okay. Now, and what I did with my photos is I cut my photos down to 5 3/4 by 5.5 by 3.5, and then I did the 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 mats. Okay, except on this 4x4. Now I want to come in and actually, I'm going to go in and do my matting. See just what a difference that makes, the island waters instead of the blue. I really like that. So I'm going to do my matting, and I will be right back, friends. Okay, so this is coming together. It's coming together. I think I want to do a little paper tearing. I think I want to do just a little bit of paper tearing. I think, do I or do I not? Maybe not. The thought process, you know, is always the hardest for me, friends. So let's go ahead and get, ooh, I don't know what I did there. Let's go ahead and get these pieces adhered down on the right page, and we'll come back to this, okay? Let's go ahead and get this adhered over here. So this is a 3x12, and we're just gonna, and I think that instead of going butt edge over here, I think I want this to line up at like 1/4 of an inch. And leave a little, because this is such a bold paper, I think I want to leave that little edge there. And I think I'm going to line this one up at 4 inches up the page. This is an absolutely stunning paper pack. And if you missed it, oh, I'm so sorry that you missed it. If you didn't miss it, then hopefully you will create with it, right? I think I'm going to let these photos run up off the page, off this blue just a little. And this one is going to overlap on the blue just a little. I think I'm liking that. I like it more centered than up toward the top. Okay, I'm liking that right there. All right, so we're not going to glue the photos down yet because I may, like I said, come back and do something with this banner, and we'll see what, or I may pull in, bits and pieces of this, okay? But I am really liking the banner, friends. I'm really liking the banner. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these pages adhered. And I'm sorry I keep moving my workspace around on you guys. I'm really going to have to buy a new phone mount. My phone, and I don't know if it's the case of the phone that I record with, the OtterBox, but my phone is so heavy and sometimes it falls sideways, and I get busy crafting and don't really realize that, so I apologize for that, friends. So we're going to go in about a quarter here again, about a quarter. I just like having that neutral edge, okay? And we're going to line this up at 4 inches, which would be, if we're lined up straight on our mat, that would be at 8 inches. That's going to be our 4 inches up. And then this little journal box is going to happen down here. We're going to have this photo and this photo. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide these together. That way I'm going to know like what my spacing is on each of these pages, okay? Now my title is going to happen over here. I think I can use this little scallop now. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little scallop. I'm not going to let it, it'll show up better. So let's do it this way. I'm going to let it butt edge to this blue. Okay. First of all, before I start putting that down, let me pull in a ruler. So we're going to let this butt edge to the blue. And notice how I'm just working this sticker border as I go. And I am going to just trim, although it's right in the middle of the scallop, I can always put a little embellishment right there. And this, because this is a 12-inch and this is 6 inches, it should work over here. So I have one of these left that I can use when I create another layout using this paper. Okay, I am loving it. Yes, I am. And I did that instead of using a punch. Okay, so these are going to go here. These are going to go here, here, and here. See, I thought about paper tearing, but I'm liking that much better. Okay. And I'm sorry if I'm crooked, friends. Okay, so let's think about this. I'm really liking this banner. How do I want to use this banner? I'm going to have to turn this backwards to me, friends. I think I like it right up here at the top. See, now this is something that was not, this little banner piece right here was kind of not, like there wasn't a punch or anything at this part. And let's just go ahead and do a little trim right here. Okay, we're going to trim that one off because I want that sort of, and then we'll let these two pieces kind of overlap right there. And I think we're going to stop. And then this little piece that we trimmed off is the same pattern, so we're not going to use that, okay? I know I'm all over the place. I know I'm all over the place, but I'm loving this, friends. Let me flip this over and trim this. If you follow me right now, you are squealing because your girl did not use bright white cardstock as a base. You're like, girl, what are you doing? Oh, I love that little banner. I just think it pulls all the color together. I love it. Okay, so I can go ahead and adhere these down now. And again, I'm sorry if I keep moving in and out of frame on you. I apologize. So we're going to go up about 1/2 inch and in about 1/4. And again, I'm just eyeballing this. Put my paper back up, friends. And we're going to leave about 1/4 inch between these two photos. Love it. And these two photos, we're going to sort of center between these photos, just so the page feels like it has balance, okay? It's not necessarily that we are centering these between the blue paper. We're centering between the bottom two photos, leaving about 1/4 inch because we want this page to feel balanced. This is probably one of the reasons that, and about 1/4 inch. This is probably one of the reasons that I wanted to do black and white photos, since I knew I wanted to work with this paper. There's some bold shades in this paper, and I didn't want like photo color to be competing and all of that. I'm loving it. Okay, let's see if we can recreate this on this page. Let's see, friends. If you're loving it, give a comment and let me know you're loving it. And I really, really, really hope that you can get your hands on this paper. Oh my goodness. I'm recording this in the morning, the early morning. It's like 8:30 in the morning when I'm recording this. And about 10 feet outside my scrapbook window is a mama deer and her baby fawn. A mama doe and her baby fawn. Love it. See, now this, I'm actually, before I stick it down, placing it so I'm not going to have to trim like I did earlier. I let it stick to my paper on this side and had to do a little trimmy trim because it would have torn my paper. But we're going to get the same look. We are going to get the same look. I love it, friends. I love it, friends. Okay, now let's get these adhered. I am so happy. So, for those of you who may be new to my channel, Roland was expected, his original due date was 26th of October, 2024. Ashley developed, well, first we thought it was HELLP syndrome, and then it was preeclampsia right out of the blue, nowhere it came. And she had to be airlifted, and Roland was born at 28 weeks, 6 days, last year on August 9th. So he came kind of early. Spent 3 months in the NICU, so Ashley didn't really get to get any mom and me photos. She really didn't get to get any maternity photos. So she had been working with her photographer. Shout out to Christina Allen Photography. And she was actually able to get these just prior to Roland's first birthday. All right, friends, there we go. This is a lot of photos happening. It's a lot, right? But let's see what we have to work with as far as our embellishments go. Now, I'm going to lay this. Y'all know that my PictureMate 400, the silicone mat sticks to my photos, so we're going to lay it over to this side. And I am so sorry that that keeps getting out of... So, I think I'm really liking Celebrate Days like these. And I think it'll show up there. I am really liking... Let's see. I'm liking these balloons as part of that little cluster. I think I like the camera, because I'm going to do like a title cluster here, okay? And then I probably will have a little, like to create that visual triangle, a little something here and a little something here, okay? I think I'm going to do, on this picture, I'm going to do Loving This, and possibly like this big green heart. Layer it over. Or does it need to be, let's see, it may need to be this darker. Green heart. Okay, and then up here, let's do, we have a little bit of yellow in this, so let's do this yellow heart balloon. And let's do this green heart balloon. We'll sort of layer them up like this. And we could do Love You layered over. And we'll just, because we have 3 of these little arrows, we'll pull these little arrows in and use these little arrows. And we may come back and pull some of these tiny hearts. I think that's going to be our, and possibly even we got some butterflies. We might even pull those butterflies. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this little cluster here. Take this Love You off, because we want that to be, and I'm not popping anything up. See how this is going to cover that little area right there. And let's do our Love You. And let's pull a little burgundy heart and do it right here. Plum heart. And let's do a little green heart up here. And we have a little blue butterfly. And let's let this little blue butterfly sort of be right there in that little cluster. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And we're going to do a little heart right here. Roland is a thumb sucker. And in this picture right here, he's sucking his thumb. And I do love it when he sucks his thumb. Love his little heart. And let's pull in the tweezies. And do this little arrow right here. Loving this. And then let's do, because I want to do this little arrow. Don't ask me why. I just do. And then let's create this little cluster over here, friends. And we are finished with this page. Yay! Oh, I have another butterfly. Let me pull him so I don't forget him, okay? So we're going to do, let's put our balloons down first. So that's going to sort of help us know. And we're going to cluster this so it's sort of all going to touch. But I also want it to touch this little journal box here. Celebrate days like these. And we're going to do our camera. Do our little butterfly right in here. And then, what heart do I have? I have a burgundy heart that I can do here. I don't have any more, oh, I have some white hearts. I have some little white hearts. Let's do a little white heart. Well, if I can catch it. Right here. And maybe, just so we feel the balance, let's do a little white heart over here, just so we feel the balance, okay? And then we can do one more white heart. I feel like I like it better right there. Okay, friends, we are finished. And then what I will do here is just draw lines in. Let me just real quickly see if there's something that I might want to put down here. Let's just put those hearts there just to sort of balance this out, okay? I am loving how this turned out, friends. I am loving how this turned out. So here is project recipe number 32. One more look at the project recipe done with something blue. One more look at your sketch. One more look at your cutting guide. Now, I kind of stayed a little bit true to these pieces. My mats are 6x4. This, I did a little something different. And remember, I made that boo-boo that I did not edit out because I feel like it's important to, like, be real with you guys. Be transparent with you guys. And so these are 3x12 pieces. This is a 6-inch piece, and I cut 1.25 inches off. One of the sticker borders cut in half, and then these are just stickers. Love how this turned out. Now, this is sort of busy for me, sort of busy, and hopefully you can see after all these bold colors why I went with the photos in black and white. I love how this turned out. If you love it, leave a comment, leave a heart. Be sure to follow Nicole's link down below. Run over and say hello to Nicole. Be inspired by what she is doing with this sketch. She is phenomenal. And leave us both a comment and let us know what you want to see beyond December. What would you like to see us collab on next year in 2026? We'd love to hear. And for now, that is it, friends. Happy scrapping!